Greetings, brothers and sisters. This is Sister Sonia here at Last Remnants of God's Army. Thank you so much for joining me here today. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Brothers and sisters, we've experienced a very unusual and unsettling thing that had happened today. As many of us are very well aware and know that we've experienced a nationwide cyber attack, I would like to say. I don't think it was a solar flare attack, although I'll get to that in a second. But there was I believe this was more of a cyber attack. And the reason why I'm saying this is if we look into the film of Leave the World Behind, we can see very clearly that they have indicated in that movie that there would be the first sign of, chaos would be cell phone outages, power outages, etc., right? Then you get in the Washington Post, down here, cyber attack, I would say. But it's also, coded, so to speak. So, but you could see CY, cyber, okay? So I believe that we today have experienced what is known as a cyber attack and not so much as a solar flare. But I'm not trying to rebuke this at all. I mean, it is possible. I mean, there have been people across the seas in different parts of the world, like Australia and Japan, that have reported weird things happening too on their end as well, in terms of interference with their radio stations and whatnot. So it does make me wonder if it is in fact, a solar flare attack, or if it is a cyber attack. And if it is a cyber attack, then China is very adamant, if you've been listening carefully, about trying to hack into our infrastructure. But a lot of people have been reporting that it has been a solar flare. It's still up for speculation as to what the real cause is. But I think hear me talking about the U.S. in general, that it is very likely and possible that we're experiencing a cyber attack, because we're dealing with a lot of the reason why I'm saying this too is because we have a lot of problems going on here in the United States. We have a rise of illegal immigrants, unwanted visitors in our backyard right now, and they're in places where they ought not to be, but they're here. And you could thank Sleepy Joe for that one. But anyhow, I'm not going to get too much into it. So we have this big issue with China that had been threatening us for long periods of time with cyber attacks. And if you trace this back and connect the dots with the whole weathering balloon incidents, they obviously took this. Those were actual, spy balloons that were taking pictures of the whole surveillance of the United States to see where the best place would be to implement such attacks. And obviously, we also see, in addition to that, the rise of sleeper cell terrorists that are in our country, that are waiting for the call from who, for those of you who have eyes and ears to see and hear, to go and do their thing. Now, this is a video that I wanted to share with you 3 weeks prior to this incident that had occurred today. So I want to share this quickly to you so you understand what to look out for, what to be careful with, and how to properly prepare, because we are truly living in the last days and we're seeing a lot of things going on forth. And so let's take a look at this video quickly.
Welcome to the WR Live Center. Christopher Wray, FBI director you see here, is going to be in front of a House Select Committee today, issuing a warning, it's expected, about Chinese hackers preparing to wreak havoc and cause real-world harm. There's an advanced copy of his remarks that reveals targets to be water treatment plants, electrical grids, oil and natural gas pipelines, and transportation systems. He says these Chinese hacking efforts extend just beyond technology.
So, in addition to the cell phones having issues, and I'm going to share with you where you could track this down. It's called Down Tracker, I believe it's called. And let me pull it up for you for a second. I meant to say Down Detector. So you could just Google this up, and I'm going to zoom this in for you to see. Hold on. There we go. All right. So this shows you a list of where they're having problems. So it's working AT&T, but it's still in the weak. Has a weak signal. You can see it's been flatlined for a very long period of time. And T-Mobile also experienced a flatliner, and now it's working, but it's still having problems. Cricket Wireless Network is flatlined, but is still having a bit of problems, and it kind of dipped down a bit. Same thing with AT&T. Astound Broadband, I'm not sure what that one is, but it's very weak signals, but still working. It's starting to pick up on itself. Consumer Cellular has very weak signal. It was flatlined initially, and it started picking up a signal, and then it just looks like it's flatlining again. Straight Talk, a lot of it was basically close to flatlining, a little bit of hiccups here and there, but starting to pick back up, but it's dipped down a bit. Boost Mobile had flatlined and was picking up on signal, but eventually it went back down. Hell Divers 2, whatever that is, it was experiencing massive interruptions, as you can see, but it didn't flatline. US Cellular flatlined for a little bit, and then it started to pick up its signal. And so anything in red, by the way, is terrible, terrible. You don't want to be in the red zone, but it's not your fault. Verizon Wireless, it was in the yellow zone, so it was experiencing difficulties, probably with internet and cellular data and whatnot. Spectrum also experienced some hiccups, but it did okay. It's in the blue, so that means it's all right. It's still working, but so nothing really too much to worry about. Xfinity. If you have Xfinity, you're probably going to experience some static and some hiccups there too. Instagram, very, very low frequency. You're going to probably have trouble. You probably had some trouble getting in to Instagram, posting stuff up and whatnot. But it picked its signal back up, it looks like. But it looks like it's also starting to dip down in there too. Amino, it was doing okay. Then it dipped down and it went flatline. But it still works. It still works. But so just keep your eyes open for these. Microsoft is doing a terrible job right now, but it picked itself back up. It's still in the yellow zone. Google, it works, but is in the low frequency zone. So a lot of these are experiencing a lot of low frequencies. So that means there was a lot of interference going on. And but the X Twitter was okay. Hulu, FirstNet. I'm not sure what that is. Facebook, probably a lot of you had trouble with your Facebook. Roblox, my kids are a huge fan of Roblox. That wasn't doing too good. A lot of interference today, but it's just like, depends on where you're at, I guess. I mean, my phone was working okay today, so I didn't have really too many issues so far. But as you could see here, you could check this website out. It's called Down Detector. So you could do this anytime you want. Amazon was having a bit of issues as well. Gmail had some issues today. But it's just experiencing. If it's in the yellow, it's just like a weak signal. Duolingo it's okay, but it's just, Rainbow Six Siege is Spotify, Apple support. These are okay, but it's just having some hiccups, if you will. TracFone, wireless, is having some issues going on there too. So you see in Fortnite and whatever. And you could look up whatever you need to look up to see anything pretty much here. So just to let you know that these were the main issues today that were in the red zone. So just to let you know, to be aware. But they have been fixed for the most part. But if you're still experiencing any issues, please put it in the comment section. Let me know what happened, even if it was like a couple hours ago. Tell me where it happened, what state you're in, and also let me know if you have had issues, which is the next thing that we're going to go into. So this woman's going to report about it, because not many people were aware that in addition to the cell phones being out, the pharmacies were having issues with getting medicines to people. They were having a lot of issues with their computers today as well. So let's take a look at this next video here of what she has to say, and we'll get right to it after.
Pharmacies nationwide have been reported outages of a wake of a cyber attack. Change in healthcare, like the HIPAA, all this other stuff. So I've got like a flood of email. I'm going to try to get through it. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be looking at my phone. I'm going to be looking at my computer. Fox Business put out just minutes ago at 12:10. It's now 12:27, but I was trying to get all this to my email. I put on a movie, and a movie for me means I'm going to be on my phone investigating things. So pharmacies nationwide report outages in the wake of a cyber attack. Change Healthcare said it became aware of the outside threat on Wednesday morning, disconnecting their system for security purposes. There is a video, but I'm not going to play it. This is on Fox Business, though. So pharmacies across the country are reporting delays to prescription orders due to a cyber attack against one of the nation's largest healthcare technologies companies. Change Healthcare, a company handling orders and patient payments through the U.S., first noticed a cybersecurity issue affected in its networks Wednesday morning on the East Coast.
Didn't I just show you that on Leave the World Behind, that the East Coast was affected with a cyber attack? Come on, let's start waking up, putting the pieces together. This is crazy, folks.
Change Healthcare is experiencing a network interruption related to a cybersecurity issue, and our experts are working to address the matter. Once we became aware of the outside threat, in the interest of protecting our partners and patients, we took immediate action to disconnect our systems to prevent further impact, Change Healthcare said in a statement. So, there's that.
Wow.
I will link that the best I can in the description of this video. If this video goes up and all the links aren't there, check back later and always go to my description, because I put a lot in those. A lot of things I also don't mention will also be linked in there. Also, in my fun adventure, the 0-day exploit came up. That one was through at IBM. Again, I'm just going to link that in the description of this video.
We'll check those links out in this.
Let's see. HHS Office for Civil Rights settles second ever ransomware attack. This is on a government site. Also, yesterday, where is it? Biden is boosting cybersecurity at U.S. ports, where online attacks can be more ravaging than storms. That was put out yesterday.
Yeah.
Like 24 hours ago.
So it makes you wonder what is really happening. Sorry, my husband's home. So there you have it, folks. I mean, is this a plotted attempt against the United States? Even from within our own government, is this a plotted attempt against the people, you and I? And I'm going to just stop her right here for a minute. But if you want to check her channel out, it's called Lake Files. Lake Files. Oh, gosh. And you can check in her, the title, What Was Happening While Waiting for Cell Services, Cyber Security Hacks Pharmacies Nationwide. So I want to show you something else that's interesting, too, because I want you to pay attention to these movies, Leave the World Behind. If you haven't watched it, see if you can watch it. And just watch it with an observant eye. Don't watch it as a form of entertainment. Watch it as you're observing for things that you're looking out for, things you're spotting. Because I tend to watch movies like that, nowadays. After I got saved through Jesus Christ, I don't watch movies the same way either. So I have that spiritual eye that in which, I'm able to pick up on stuff now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I haven't spotted this before. Where was I? I was spiritually sleeping. But anyhow, so I want to share something else with you. So there's this movie coming out in April. It's called Civil War. And this is the trailer, okay, that I'm going to share with you. All right. So that way you can see what's really going on in our country, because these are just subliminal messages that are showing the people what is bound to happen. So I just wanted to give you insights to this advertisement for this movie. Check it out.
Citizens of America, people of the Florida Alliance, and the Western forces of Texas and California will be welcomed back to these United States as soon as their illegal secessionist government is deposed.
We don't know what side they're fighting for. Someone's trying to kill us. We are trying to kill them.
So with all this being said and done, folks, I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff that's happening. 2024 is a year where things are going to start picking up in intensity and in frequency. As we see right now, Biden is boosting cybersecurity at U.S. ports where online attacks can be more ravaging than the storms. That's what the lady was explaining. I'm just going to quickly read through this. President Joe Biden, let's make this bigger. I'm sorry, folks. There we go. Okay, let's start from the beginning. President Joe Biden said on Wednesday signed an executive order and created a federal rule, interesting, which was aimed at better securing the nation's ports from potential cyber attacks. This was done yesterday prior to the actual attack today. The administration is outlining a set of cybersecurity regulations that port operators must comply with across the country, not unlike standardized safety regulations that seek to prevent injury or damage to people and the infrastructure. This is what he said. We want to ensure there are similar requirements for cyber when a cyber attack can cause just as much, if not more, damage than a storm. Interesting word, keyword, buzzword, storm. Remember, they were talking about that since Donald Trump, storm, or another physical threat, said Ann Neuberger, Deputy National Security Advisor at the White House. Nationwide ports employ roughly 31 million people and contribute $5.4 trillion to the economy and could be left vulnerable to a ransomware or other brand of cyber attack, Neuberger said. The standardized set of requirements is designed to help and protect against that. Very interesting stuff, folks. So we're adding on more cybersecurity as we speak. I'm going to zoom out because we don't need to worry about that anymore. But just to let you know, this is getting serious, folks. I pray you're getting ready because these last days, the Bible has been talking about this. All right, so we're going to jump into scripture and call it a day. Luke 21, starting with line 7. So they asked him, saying, Teacher, but when will these things be? And what will be the sign? What sign will be there when these things are about to take place? And he, meaning Jesus, Yeshua, said, Take heed that you do not be deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, I am he, meaning I am the Christ. The time has drawn near, therefore do not go after them. But when you hear wars and commotions, do not be terrified, for these things must come to pass first. But the end, the tribulation period, will not come immediately. Then he said to them, Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. We're seeing that right now. And there will be great earthquakes in various places. We're seeing that right now. And famines and pestilences. We're seeing that right now. And there will be fearful sights and great signs from heaven. We're also seeing this too. Remember with the solar flares that had happened. But also fearful sights. Amen. But before all these things, they will lay their hands on you and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues and to the prisons, where you will be brought before kings and rulers for my name's sake. Okay, but it will turn out for you as an occasion for testimony. All right. Therefore, settle it within your hearts, not to meditate beforehand on what you will answer, for I will give you a mouth and wisdom, which all your adversaries will not be able to contradict or resist. Okay, so we're seeing a rise of things happening in our world today. I want you to not grow weary. Don't be weak in your hearts. This is where I wanted to take you really. Don't be terrified of these things will come, okay? Even though there'll be fearful sights and great signs that are coming from the heavens and happening here also on the earth, don't be overtaken by them. Don't be distracted by them. The Lord is with us, okay? If you put your trust and faith in the Lord during times like these, okay? He's an ever-present help, even in times of trouble. He will help you if you call upon his name. The instruction is, blessed is he who calls upon the name of the Lord. All right. The next instruction is, for the one who calls upon the name of the Lord shall be saved. They will be saved. So my brothers and sisters, don't let this get to you. Just, do the best you can to work around this. I know this is a difficult time, especially with everything going on, and also with the whole thing with Donald Trump and the truckers for Trump movement that's happening. The trucker kind of accidentally started up a rally, if you will. And I don't think it was initially his intention to do that, but you have that going on. And I pray for those in New York, even for my family and whatever, to, do the best you can do to make sure you're properly preparing yourselves, even all over the states. I say this to everybody. Make sure you're making proper preparations like that of Joseph, and start preparing in advance, because there will come a time when famine is going to hit us so hard, and then when we truly need God and we're calling upon him, and you're not preparing through the Lord, and you're not clinging on to the hem of his robe, well, guess what? You're going to find yourself having a difficult time getting through these circumstances if you don't get yourself right with the Lord. Amen. So I wanted to share that with you. There is hope in the midst of this world of darkness we're going through. Just endure until the end. You can make it. You will make it. Okay. So I just wanted to share that with you. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Help my channel to grow by just simply sharing the content that is available to you. I thank you, brothers and sisters, here at Last Remnant of God's Army, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care. I love you all. God bless you. Bye.